Hey guys, good to see you again. How are you guys doing? I apologize for taking forever to do this video. It's been a little bit crazy with work and life in general. Since the last time I talked to you guys, I was able to get my driver's license, which is a big plus. Still thinking about buying a car or not. I'm not really sure. Advantages of buying a car is, of course, I could drive by myself around. I don't have to rely on a taxi. A little bit more freedom than what I'm going through right now. Disadvantages, of course, is that I have to buy a new car, or not buy a new car, but actually buy a car used. And unlike how we have it in the States, where things are things are well taken care of as far as secondhand used cars, things are not the same way over here. Um, so it's a big risk actually when you go and buy a secondhand car. But nonetheless, I don't intend on spending a lot of money. So if I spend what is equivalent of $6,000 to $7,000 of a used car here, it may last me for a year. The other question, of course, is that I'm coming up to my third month, and there's a question if I'm going to continue or not. So if I leave within my first 90 days, I don't have to pay my ticket back to the States. But if I leave after the first 90 days, after I leave after that, then I actually do have to pay my flight back home. So you may ask, well, what's wrong? Uh, Nothing specifically. I guess I'm just still trying to get accustomed here. I'm definitely getting better. Things are slowly getting better. I'm now used to living here. I'm used to the people. I'm used to the culture. It's still taking quite a bit of time. Um, it's a tribal society. Everything is about tribes. So even though you're working in a, what we consider tertiary care hospital, where there's residents and there's a university affiliated with it, and so on and so forth, um, there's a lot of bureaucracy and a lot of diplomatic, you know, holes and all that stuff, which actually, unfortunately, does translate down to patient care. Um, and you, for example, could not go and speak to this physician because he's that tribe. You have to go through this, media or this channel, or so on and so forth. So it's the a little bit of irritating. Now, so that's the kind of bad stuff about it. Of course, it's still a very uh, conservative society. It's a little hard. I haven't been out, honestly, in more than a month out of the compound to go to a mall or something. All my periods of getting out of the compound here has been either to other compounds or to the U.S. consulate, or to go and get groceries from a close-by supermarket. It takes about 15-20 minutes walking, carrying all these grocery bags, but it beats going down to the mall, A, because you have to pay for a taxi, B, because things are priced somewhat on the pricier side when you go to a mall and buy from their supermarket. So that being said, the good things about here is that, come to think about it, of course, now that wrapping up my third month, I don't have to pay utilities, which at first was like, what's the big deal? But it really does make a difference. So it's the same thing for living. I've been to different compounds here. I'm sad to say that the one that I'm living in here is probably one of the worst ones. Maybe I'm over exaggerating it. Maybe there's one or two that are worse than ours, but definitely I would say within the 50 percentile as far as the upkeeping and the overall management and look of it. I've been to the ones where they actually place the individuals that work in the consulate or work for private firms, in private, i.e., meaning over British, American, New Zealand, German, French, and so forth. Their employees that work for those private firms are placed in those really prestigious compounds. Very, very nice. A lot of activities going on, never a dull moment. Over here, as I'm looking out the window, it's not too bad. It looks like a little bit of rundown. Everything is in working order. Everything is clean, but there's really not much things to do. So we try to keep busy. Try to go to the gym. We have our own barbecue. We've been having a lot of barbecues with a lot of the neighbors. Yesterday I had my own backyard barbecue here. Backyard meaning on the back street. We don't really have a lot of grass. But we built the deck by my neighbor here. We have a pseudo deck, so it's a deck over the sand versus a deck over the grass. But we try to manage, we try to enjoy. So the good things really is, as we said, we talked about cost of living is very cheap here. I'm starting to make some nice friends in the compound. My neighbors, the majority of who I'm talking about are my neighbors. So that is actually something nice. Uh, I started. You'll see some pictures. I'll talk about my little kittens on a later time. I'm not sure how I'm gonna put all this together. I have some photos with my commentary on it, and then I have this video. So I'm not sure how things will roll in. Still in this learning process of how to put the videos together. What else? Job. The job is good. Keeping me very busy, learning a lot. I've actually started now preparing for the BCPS for 2012. So about once a week, twice a week, I grab the book, kind of read through some cases, helps refresh my memory. Thing is that I'm not really using a lot of the information from my other rotations, especially like the ambulatory care section where you're not really dealing with outpatient medications or so forth, but I'm trying my best. My job, unfortunately, doesn't have that same amount of keenness, if I could use that as a word, how keen they are about patient medical history, past medical history, and medications in the outpatient setting. They kind of overrun this, and I try to be diligent about it. But overall, they do have their own residency program, which I'm, actively trying to participate in. There's always university teaching opportunities, and there's also case conferences and a little bit of presentations within work. So definitely all that will be helping out. So that being said, I'm now going to Hajj in the next 2 weeks or so. In 2 weeks' time, I'm going to Hajj, and of course, everybody knows that that's like the big pilgrimage to Mecca. So I'll be performing that. It's still going to be properly hot here. The weather, I would say, it's about 40 degrees Fahrenheit, maybe 35 degrees Fahrenheit over the past couple of weeks. Today has been a milder day. There's a nice breeze, so it hasn't been bad, but I doubt if I'm even going to be wearing a heavy sweater this year. It's very funny when I speak to my family back home, and they're like, yeah, it's freezing. And here I'm sitting, it's like, God, it's hot. So that's always interesting. Let's see what else has been happening. Really nothing much. I've been practically my whole work week is just very busy. I spent about 2.5 hours on transportation back and forth and about 10 to 11 hours at work. So there's really not much to do once that's done. I still do want to go out and enjoy Jeddah. Speaking about enjoyment, next week we'll be going out to a mountain crater. Basically, there used to be a mountain, volcanic mountain, and it made a volcanic crater, and now it's an inactive mountain. So we'll be going and checking it out and staying overnight. So which reminds me, I do need to get a sleeping bag. So if any of you guys have any recommendation on sleeping bags, let me know. We do have the Desert Spider here. I forgot what the proper name is, Desert Spider, but it's a pretty nasty looking spider. Don't want to get bit or be sleeping with that stuff. What else? Really nothing much else. For the better part of today, I'll be actually just preparing some food for the rest of the week. Might head out to the grocery store. I'll be just finishing up some work here, trying to get ASHP accredited for our residency program here at KAMC Jeddah. So I'll be spending a lot of time as far as writing my rotation description. Of course, doing that with my, I was about to say preceptor, but my boss. He and I work in the ICU together. So we'll be working that, which is a phenomenal opportunity, so to say the least. So I'll have some pictures and I'll be doing some commentary on them. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope everybody's in good health. Keep in touch. Overall, I think I'm doing okay. I'm still not sure what I'm going to do as far as leave within the 90 days, leave within the year. It's too soon to decide if I'm actually going to stay here more than a year or not. The money is good, but there are days that I crave just 10 minutes back in the States. But I think that's part of an expat life. Definitely hanging out with my buddies and my colleagues. Uh, well, not colleagues, my neighbors are good. My colleagues are interesting down at work. I personally don't have too much interaction with them. I don't talk to them a lot outside of work, except for work-related matters. Again, it's a very conservative society. Not that I don't respect that, but um, they try to impose their ideas on you, whether you like it or not. And I don't appreciate that. So I just nod and I smile and I let it go. I wish I could go and speak to them as I used to speak back in the residency and my previous jobs, but uh, of how quiet I am at work, I definitely make it up here with my neighbors and the interesting conversations that we have here. Oh, and I wanted to say something. I was approached and I was told not to chew gum at work because it's not a acceptable manner. Um, but the stuff they do, especially men here, for example, they open the door and they don't let the woman, for example, walk through. When they speak to a woman, they're a little bit impolite. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes. And then they do interesting stuff, which I don't think I'll be saying on YouTube. But if you guys are very, very curious on what stuff they do, I'll let you know. Oh, and soda is prohibited on hospital grounds. Go figure. But soda is prohibited, but you could smoke. Because smoking is not as harmful, but soda is. And on that bombshell, I'll let you guys go. I hope everybody's doing well. Major shout outs to all my buddies and my neighbors and my family. And I will hopefully talk to you guys next week. See ya.